Yeah, yeah. Feeling like today gon' be a great day. Yeah. Feeling like I'm gonna get in my way. Yeah. Feeling like I've said all I need to say. Yeah. Feeling like today gon' be a great day.
What's going on, everybody? Zero Star Heads here today, and I'm going to be reviewing Chapter 9 of Time Paradox Ghostwriter. If at any point you guys are enjoying this, go ahead and subscribe for more content. Wow, Tepe, bro, what are you doing, man? Sometimes, like, being a good guy is cool, but, dude, you had a chance to win all this money in the lottery and you didn't take it. You could have used that money in a way to help save Izuku in some way. Like, really could have been useful, bro. Like, I don't know why he's decided not to take that money. I know that he's always, like, trying to be a good person, but, bro, come on, man. You gotta take that money. That's a lot of money. But anyway, in the beginning, we have Tepe talking with his editor, and the editor's pretty much telling him how, like, up to this point, the first 45 chapters or so, he hasn't really had any, like, complaints, so he feels like his job as an editor has been pretty simple. But we do see that, like, Tepe, we saw in the last chapter, was working on his first chapter alone without Izuku's story, and we see that he is having trouble, that, like, they do want him to go back and revise it for the first time, but, you know, that was expected. But we do also get this big time skip again. We've been getting a lot of time skips in this story, which is cool and I enjoy it, but at the same time I feel like maybe it's going a little bit too fast. But we do end up getting a jump into the future, which pretty much does tell us that I guess he is going to be okay, because if he's getting half a year into the future, at that point I think he was at about 7 weeks, that was what they said, until he had to do his own chapters. So they must have at least been good enough to keep him going. But I don't know if the quality has dropped at all. We'll probably learn more about that in the next chapter. But we do see in the end that Izuku and Sasaki are now going to be rivals, with Izuku's anime starting. I got a cool comment on my last Time Paradox Ghostwriter review from Shonen Trash, saying how he thinks that in the future Sasaki is actually writing the White Knight, and he's just using Aino's pen name because of, like, to honor her, which is a really good theory. I know I'm kind of jumping a little bit all over on this chapter, but there's just a lot of important stuff that happened that I want to talk about. But another thing that I thought was really kind of interesting was how Tepe is actually helping Aino create the new story. Because we do know, like, although Tepe wasn't able to make a hit himself, he is, like, an experienced, like, manga creator, and he does, like, he went to school, so he understands how to do it. He just didn't make a great story by himself. So, like, he does have a lot of things that's able to help. So he was helping Aino, like, with the story and like how to make her characters better. Or I think it was just some kind of art or whatever. But the point of the matter is, like, he's helping that series get better, which is kind of weird, because the point is to beat him. The point is for Tepe to be able to beat Aino, so Aino doesn't die. But at the same time, Tepe is such a good person that, like, he probably just can't helping her, or maybe he's just getting to the point where he's just thinking that, like, he's just gonna have to do his best with his own series to beat him. But still, it's just kind of weird. If you want to save her, you don't really want to help her series get better. Although that does kind of sound mean, you're doing it in the long run to save her. I think it's really interesting the way they're progressing the story, because in the second to last panel, we see this, like, cool little monologue of Tepe, like, struggling to draw, and he's having, like, this, like, dark figure behind him, and he's really having a hard time figuring out how he's going to keep on going, and he's doubting himself. And then in the very next chapter, he seems a lot more, like, confident, a lot more, like, ready for the challenge. And we know that a half a year has passed, so he's been able to keep it going. So it's just kind of weird to see how quickly it moved in this one page. That's something that this series has been doing a lot. It's just, like, it's just moving really fast. One other thing that I forgot to bring up was this Vitamin Man series that we got introduced to. First off, the series looks funny as crap. I don't really know if it would be something, like, I would want to get into. It just looks super weird. But hey, I mean, it's been running for a long time, so people like it. I think the reason that they brought this up in general, one was just to show that Tepe is, like, a more experienced artist than people really understand. And then two, like, I think we'll probably get this mangaka in the story at some point, and whether he'll help Tepe make White Knight better or whatever will happen, we'll probably see that character at some point. Like I said in my last review, I really enjoy it when we do get to see just a little bit of White Knight and, like, how the characters are, because, you know, as though the story isn't necessarily about White Knight, it's super cool just to get a little bit about that story. That's one of the things I really liked about a series like Bakuman, is that, like, inside the story of Bakuman, there was all these other stories that were interesting inside, like, the different mangas that they were creating. I thought that was pretty cool. Overall, I did enjoy this chapter again. I think it did move a little bit too fast, but at the same time, that's kind of just the way the series has been. Also, just one more time, Tepe, come on, bro. Use the freaking lottery tickets, bro. Use the lottery tickets. Come on, man. I'm really curious to see a little bit more about Aino's story and how it's going to pair up to White Knight. It's really funny because in the end of the day, it is really Aino's story versus Aino's story, unless you think that idea that Tepe did actually create White Knight in the future. But we'll see what happens next. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I will see you next time. Go ahead and subscribe for more content. See you later.